Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Inspire IQ. We've all felt that sting, haven't we? You invest your heart, your time, your energy, and in return, you're met with silence, indifference, maybe even rejection. It's painful when you give so much of yourself to someone, be it a friend, a partner, or even family, only to feel unappreciated, unseen, and undervalued. They don't acknowledge your efforts, they don't seem to care about your presence, and sometimes it feels like they don't even notice you're there. But here's something important that we often forget in these moments. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone fails to see it. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's ability to recognize it. Too often, we tie our self-worth to how others treat us, as if their approval somehow validates our existence. But this is an illusion. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In other words, the way you see yourself has far more power than the way others see you. Imagine standing in front of a beautiful painting. Just because someone walks by without appreciating it doesn't make the painting any less beautiful. You are that painting. You have a unique worth, a depth that cannot and should not be diminished just because someone else fails to recognize it. If they're blind to your value, that says more about their vision than it does about your worth. Epictetus reminds us, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Self-respect and dignity should come from within. They are not contingent on someone else's acknowledgement. Today, I want you to remember that your dignity, your sense of self, is yours alone. Don't allow others to shake that foundation. You're here for a purpose greater than pleasing those who don't appreciate you. Sometimes, when people don't see your value, the best response is silence. It's a powerful choice, a way of saying, I won't beg for attention, I won't seek validation from those who don't respect me. By holding your ground, by staying true to who you are, you make it clear that your worth isn't up for debate. So, stick around. In this video, you're going to learn how to keep your dignity intact, no matter what anyone else does, because in the end, they don't define you. You do. Number 1, I stand alone, but I stand strong. Now take a deep breath and repeat, I stand alone, but I stand strong. Drop your affirmation in the comments, I stand strong. What does this really mean? It means that your inner strength is independent of anyone's approval, attention, or recognition. Standing alone isn't about isolation. It's about having the courage and confidence to be grounded in yourself, even when others don't see your value. So many times, we get trapped in a cycle of needing validation, waiting for others to affirm our worth, to reassure us that we matter. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone's permission to feel worthy. Think of a tree in a storm. Its roots go deep, holding it steady, even as strong winds try to knock it down. In the same way, your self-worth should be rooted in you, not in the fickle opinions or behaviors of others. Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, your path to inner peace, strength, and self-respect may not align with what others think of you, and that's okay. True power comes from within, and it often requires standing firm against outside opinions, just like that tree. When you realize that your dignity is yours alone, you reclaim your personal power. You take back control over how you feel about yourself, rather than letting someone else's indifference or neglect dictate your worth. This doesn't mean you don't care about others. It simply means you value yourself enough not to rely on others for validation. Once you reach that point, you'll find that you're no longer driven by the need to seek their approval, You'll feel free because you're not at the mercy of others' opinions. Standing strong is also a reminder that dignity isn't something anyone can take from you unless you hand it over. No one can strip you of your worth. No one can make you feel less than you are unless you give them that power. And every time you remind yourself, I stand alone, but I stand strong, you're choosing to keep that power where it belongs, within you. So remember, you are worthy and whole without anyone's validation. You have the strength to stand alone, to be true to yourself, and to honor your own value, no matter who notices. Let this affirmation guide you in moments of doubt, reinforcing the truth that your strength is not only about being independent, but also about being resilient. Number 2. Silence is the weapon of the strong. You may think silence is weak or passive, that by stepping back you're inviting people to forget about you. But let me tell you something powerful. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. When used wisely, silence can speak louder than any words. It's a statement of self-respect, a boundary that quietly says, I value myself too much to chase those who overlook my worth. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When someone ignores you, it's easy to get lost in the thoughts of rejection, worry, and longing. You may imagine scenarios where you're at fault or that you need to somehow prove your worth to get their attention. But all of that mental agony is self-inflicted. The real pain often isn't as much about their behavior as it is about our reaction to it. Chasing, begging, or even trying to explain yourself only gives power to their indifference. When you allow your peace to be disrupted by someone who shows no respect for your presence, you're handing over control of your emotions. Imagine a scenario. They ignore you, and instead of reaching out or demanding answers, you respond with silence. That silence becomes your shield. By not reacting, you allow them to sit with their choices. When they sense that you're no longer giving them your energy, they begin to feel your absence more profoundly. In a way, your silence becomes louder, more piercing than any words could be. The absence of your reaction highlights their own indifference, making them confront the space you once filled. Silence doesn't mean invisibility, nor does it imply defeat. It's a conscious choice to maintain your dignity. It sends a powerful message. I am here, but I won't degrade myself by begging for validation. When you withhold your response, you're reclaiming your power. They start realizing that your presence was a gift, not a given. You're not desperate. You're simply choosing not to waste your energy on people who don't appreciate it. Think about how valuable your energy is. Do you really want to spend it on those who treat it as an afterthought? By embracing silence, you shift the focus back to yourself. You allow yourself to heal, to nurture your inner peace without disruption. And as they experience the void you've left, they may come to understand that your presence was worth more than they realized. Whether or not they come to that realization is irrelevant. What matters is that your silence has reinforced your boundaries and protected your peace. So remember, silence isn't a retreat, it's a stance. It's not about ignoring others, it's about honoring yourself. Number 3, I am not a substitute, I am the standard. Repeat after me. I am not a substitute, I am the standard. I want you to drop an affirmation in the comments. I am the standard. This statement is your reminder that you are not meant to play a lesser role in someone else's life. Too often, people who don't see your true worth will try to make you believe you're just an option, someone who should chase, settle, and prove yourself endlessly. They want you to jump through hoops for their attention, to wait around hoping for a crumb of acknowledgement. But here's the truth. You don't have to accept that role. You don't need to beg to be valued. You're not here to be a placeholder in someone's life. You are the standard. When you know your worth, you automatically raise the bar. You understand that your presence has value, and you expect a certain level of respect and appreciation from those you allow into your life. This isn't about arrogance, it's about self-respect. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you see yourself as a priority, as someone worthy of genuine effort, you start to shift your standards. You stop tolerating behaviors that don't align with your sense of dignity. Think of it this way. You wouldn't accept a copy when you could have the original, right? In the same way, you don't have to settle for half-hearted interest when you deserve real commitment. When someone treats you as an option, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to recognize value. You are not a second choice or a backup plan. You're the main character in your life. If they can't see that, if they want you to settle for anything less than what you deserve, then they're simply not right for you. Standing firm in this belief is not easy. It may require you to walk away from people who won't rise to your standards. But this is a powerful act of self-respect. You're choosing not to waste time on those who don't appreciate you, and that's a profound statement of your worth. You're saying to the world, "I value myself too much to accept less than I deserve." And in doing so, you start attracting people who respect and admire you, who see you as the standard. So, hold your head high. Don't let anyone convince you to settle or to shrink your expectations just to fit their convenience. Remind yourself, I am not a substitute. I am the standard. Stand firm in this truth, because the right people will recognize it, and the wrong ones will fall away. Remember, you're not someone's afterthought. You are the measure by which they should strive. If they can't meet your level of respect and commitment, then they don't belong in your life. And that's perfectly okay. Number 4, detach with grace. Let's talk about the power of detachment. When someone doesn't care, it's natural to feel an urge to cling tighter, to prove your worth, to show them just how much they're overlooking. But here's a truth that may surprise you. The more you cling, the more you diminish your own value. Holding on to someone who doesn't appreciate you only reinforces the message that you're willing to settle for less than you deserve. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is a reminder that while you can't control someone else's actions or emotions, you have complete control over how you respond. You can't force someone to value you, but you can choose how much value you place on yourself. When someone begins to pull away, the strongest response isn't to chase them, it's to detach with grace. This isn't about bitterness, anger, or proving a point. It's about respecting yourself enough to step back and let them make their choice. Detaching with grace is an act of self-respect. It shows that you know your own worth and that you're unwilling to beg for anyone's attention. When you detach, you're saying, "I honor myself enough not to settle for crumbs of affection." You're sending a powerful message. The people who deserve a place in your life are the ones who willingly choose to be there. Those who don't see your value are free to leave. And that's perfectly okay. It's not always easy to let go, especially when emotions are involved. But detaching doesn't mean you're indifferent or heartless. It means you've found peace in valuing yourself over their opinions. This is an empowering stance. When you detach, you allow the space for self-healing and growth, for nurturing the love and respect you have for yourself, rather than expending energy on someone who won't reciprocate it. It's a quiet but powerful way of asserting that your emotional well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. This process of detachment doesn't have to be cold or harsh. It can be filled with compassion for yourself and even for them. By stepping back, you're acknowledging that everyone has the freedom to choose who they value, including you. And when you choose not to chase, you keep your dignity intact. You show the world that you're confident enough to be alone rather than in the company of those who fail to appreciate you. So, when they pull away, remember you don't have to prove your worth. Detach with grace. Let them see that your presence is a privilege, not a given. In doing so, you empower yourself, reaffirming that you are the one in control of who gets to share in your life and who does not. Number 5. I release what does not serve me. Now take a deep breath and say this with me. I release what does not serve me. I release what does not respect me. To truly respect yourself, sometimes you have to let go. You let go of the need to explain your worth, the urge to chase people's attention, or the desire to convince others of your value. Releasing what doesn't serve you isn't about giving up. It's about honoring yourself enough to free up space for what truly aligns with who you are and what you deserve. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with things that no longer bring you joy or meaning. This weight pulls you down, restricting your ability to move freely. Releasing that weight feels liberating, doesn't it? When you let go of people who no longer respect your energy, you're doing just that, freeing yourself from unnecessary emotional baggage. Letting go is not a loss, it's a gain. You're reclaiming the space within yourself for things, people, and experiences that uplift, value, and cherish you. When you stop holding space for those who won't hold it for you, you're choosing self-respect. This doesn't mean you hold anger or resentment. Instead, it's about peacefully closing a door that no longer leads to growth or joy. Maya Angelou wisely said, "Never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option." By releasing what doesn't serve you, you're ensuring that you're only prioritizing those who see your worth as deeply as you do. Consider this. If you continue accepting crumbs, you're telling the world that crumbs are enough for you. But you deserve a full feast, respect, love, and support that meets your worth. Releasing those who don't respect you is an act of self-preservation. It's a way of saying, I won't settle for less than what I bring to the table. When you let go of those who cannot appreciate your presence, you invite those who will celebrate it. This act of release is also a statement of your strength and independence. It reminds you that you are the one who decides what stays in your life. No one else holds that power unless you give it to them. Releasing what doesn't serve you keeps your dignity intact. It reaffirms your commitment to yourself and reinforces your boundaries. Remember, letting go isn't about losing. It's about clearing space for things that will enhance your life rather than drain it. So, let go without fear, without hesitation. Release what doesn't serve or respect you, and allow your dignity to remain untouched. In doing so, you're creating room for what truly deserves to be part of your journey. Number 6. Control your narrative. Remember, you are the author of your story, not them. You have the power to decide how you're treated, how you respond, and ultimately, how you perceive yourself. This isn't a matter of ego or stubbornness. It's about owning your truth and shaping your own life path. Right now, ask yourself, what story are you telling yourself? Is it a narrative of feeling unworthy or broken because of someone else's lack of care? Or is it a story of resilience, self-respect, and strength? When you let others define your worth, you're handing them the pen to write your story. If they treat you poorly and you internalize that treatment, you risk believing that their indifference defines you. But here's the empowering truth. Only you can shape the narrative of who you are. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that how you think about yourself, especially during difficult times, will paint your reality. Choose thoughts that lift you, that affirm your worth, and remind you of your inherent value. Think of it this way: if someone dismisses or ignores you, they're expressing their perspective. But that doesn't have to become your truth. You have the power to stand tall and say, "I am worthy," regardless of how they see me. When you take control of your narrative, you hold on to your dignity and inner peace, refusing to let anyone's perception diminish your self-worth. When you view yourself as a powerful, worthy person, you naturally set boundaries that align with that belief. You won't tolerate disrespect or indifference because you know your story deserves more. When others try to minimize you, remind yourself that you're the one who decides your ending. If you stay grounded in your self-worth, they lose the power to influence your story. You write your ending, one that respects your value and maintains your dignity. Embracing this mindset means becoming the protagonist of your own life. You choose how you want to grow from the experiences you face, and you decide which chapters serve your journey forward. Even if someone else doesn't see your worth, you don't need their validation to feel valuable. You are complete and powerful within yourself, and by taking control of your narrative, you remind yourself of that strength daily. So, hold the pen tightly and write a story that honors who you are. Let the world know through your actions that you are worthy of respect, care, and dignity, whether or not others choose to see it. Number 7. My dignity is non-negotiable. Say it with me. My dignity is non-negotiable. I demand respect, and I give it to myself first. Drop your affirmation in the comments, "I demand respect." Your dignity is a pillar of who you are, a fundamental aspect of your self-worth. It's not something that can be granted or taken away by anyone else. It's an inner standard that you uphold, regardless of how others treat you. This affirmation serves as a reminder that your self-respect isn't up for debate. No amount of indifference or disrespect from others can compromise your sense of worth unless you allow it. When you recognize that your dignity is non-negotiable, you stop seeking validation from those who refuse to offer it. You understand that your value doesn't come from others' approval or attention. It comes from the respect you give yourself. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom is key. You don't control how others behave, but you do control whether you let their behavior define you. Living with non-negotiable dignity means you don't beg for anyone's care, nor do you chase validation. You know your worth isn't determined by someone's interest in you. You stand grounded in the knowledge that you are already enough. When you carry yourself this way, others notice. People who truly respect and value you will align with your standards, while those who don't will naturally drift away. This isn't a loss, it's a testament to the strength of your boundaries and the depth of your self-respect. Having non-negotiable dignity also means that you're willing to walk away from anyone who fails to honor your worth. This might be challenging at times, especially when emotions are involved, but it's an essential act of self-care. By standing firm in this principle, you show that you are a whole person, complete in your own self-respect, and unwilling to compromise your peace for anyone else's indifference. Your dignity isn't a bargaining chip, it's a foundation you build on. When you live from this place of self-respect, your interactions with others begin to shift. People who appreciate your strength and authenticity will gravitate toward you. Those who don't will either respect your boundaries or quietly fade from your life. And that's perfectly fine because you've chosen to honor yourself first. Hold this affirmation close to you. My dignity is non-negotiable. Let it guide your relationships, your choices, and your self-view. Know that you're already whole and that your worth is absolute. Embracing this truth, you set a powerful example for how you deserve to be treated. And in doing so, you give yourself the ultimate gift of inner peace and unwavering self-respect. So, I ask you, will you keep clinging to someone who doesn't care? Or will you choose to stand in your own dignity, no matter what they do? Your worth is not for sale. It isn't something to be negotiated or compromised. It is yours, unconditionally. When you honor your dignity, you free yourself from the need for others' validation and find strength in who you already are. Drop your affirmation in the comments. My dignity is non-negotiable. Then start living like it. Stand tall, embrace your worth, and let your life reflect the power of your self-respect.